The Raptors got their second win of the new year last night, regardless of it being a super ugly game and no defense, all offense, all three-pointers. We still got it. A win is a win. One is a win. I'm Noor Zainab, next to Jelani Goodridge-Reid and Justin Pooni, and today's slate looks like this. We will go over Raptors and their bench. How important is depth to a basketball team? If anyone's going to tell you that, it's the Toronto Raptors of 2022-2023. Then we'll also move on to the point guard position where, again, three boys want the ball. Scotty Barnes, Fred VanVleet, and Pascal Siakam. And then let's look at the remaining schedule of the Toronto Raptors. And guys, they have one of the easiest ones, if not the easiest, left in the league right now. And we will see if that says something good about this team or we're not going to believe it. We're not going to believe it. But first, Raptors got their second of the season again. It's the new year.
I mean, it feels like the second win of the season.
It does feel like that. It does feel like that. It's a long time coming. But they got their second of the new year last night against the Hornets. It was looking like an ugly, disgusting game. It was all offense. We love shooting. We wanted shooting. We need shooting. But it was weird because the Hornets are 23rd in the league in points per game. The Raptors are 26th. But both teams had pretty much 100 points going into the fourth quarter. So it was either going to be a brick kind of game or no defense at all. And that's what we saw. We saw absolutely no defense. Nothing was being stopped. The three-point line was wide open, and the Raptors got 20 threes for the first time this season last night. So guys, the bench had 40 points. On Sunday, the bench had 21 points. We saw big contributions from Precious Achiuwa, who was just coming off of his injury. He had 13 points last night, 55% from the field, 60% from three. And Precious's game is kind of ugly, but it's like ugly smart. You know what I mean? Like when he has the ball, it's like, oh, I hope it makes it in the rim because it's just it's like greasy hands almost sometimes. Butterfingers, yeah, exactly. And then Malachi had a pretty quiet night in terms of shooting, but he did come through when it came to playmaking. But it showed you, I think the Raptors need their bench to come through and win. But it also gives you so much ease off of your core that's not going to be working 45 minutes a night now. So guys, how important is the bench? How important is the bench?
Very important, right? Like you look at it, Fred VanVleet only played 36 minutes, which is a rarity for him. A rarity, right? And I think you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? The Raptors are only going to be as strong as their weakest
That's a bar.
link.
Not gonna lie.
What do I do?
Yes,
Continue. Right? Anyway, look, the Raptors, Precious, like you mentioned, Christian Koloko, Chris Boucher, they all had very good games. They all contributed not only on the score sheet, on putting the ball in the basket, but also on the offensive rebounding glass too, which was critical as well. When I look at the Toronto Raptors, if they can get that, I'm not saying that type of contribution from everybody every night, but if they can get some of that, like 65 to 75% of that, that will help them a lot and potentially get back into this playoff race because you can't be playing all those guys 40 plus minutes, 45 plus minutes every night because A, you're going to get tired. You're not going to hit your jump shots because you have nothing in your legs anymore. And then also teams are just going to, the more reps they have, the more time defense see them on a game, the more chances they're going to stop them, right? So very good depth win. It was against the Charlotte Hornets, who are like the second worst team in the Eastern Conference. So, take stock into that what you will, but very good win by the Raptors.
Yeah, the bench showed up with J. Cole in the crowd. You know what it is. But I think, like you said, some guys showed up. We needed Boucher. We needed Koloko. Those guys, we talked about the offensive and defensive glass. That was very important. And then when you're talking about the Eastern Conference in general, right? All these contenders that you're seeing, even the teams in the play-in, they have benches that are strong, that are pretty strong, and that's what helps them get to wins. And so for the Raptors right now, obviously hovering around that 500 mark, you're gonna need
hovering around it.
Yeah, a bit behind. I was trying to be nice. A bit behind the 500 mark. They're gonna need that bench to show up as we move forward because this is the part of the season where it gets okay, not according to the schedule. It's not that tough. What you're saying, the easy teams we play, but in terms of like getting towards the playoffs, you're gonna need those guys to step up. And what we have seen so far with the Raptors, why have they lost games? this season. It's because the bench is just absent, right? We do not have the depth that we saw a few years ago. When the Raptors were making the playoffs year after year after year, this is a completely different unit, obviously. And we're seeing why. Because you're talking about the bench, the best benches in the league, the Raptors are nowhere near that, okay? They are closer to the basement in terms of bench points, okay, and bench three-point shooting percentage. They are not a good team in that aspect. So if you could find a way to just get some continuity there, some good reps there, some good minutes there, then the Raptors can be in a way better spot than they've been this season.
I have been screaming from the rooftops. Anybody who would listen to me from the CN Tower, the skyscrapers, the Statue of Liberty, everywhere. I've been telling
Isn't that New York?
What?
I don't care. I don't give a
What?
fuck. Whatever. I'm just talking
Eaton's
about
better.
tall buildings, all right? But all I'm saying is I have been talking about the importance of depth since the beginning of the season. Have I not? Have I
You
not
have,
been
you
saying
have,
it?
you have.
I've been
You've been saying a lot
I've
of
been
things at the
talking
beginning of the
about the
season.
bench mob. What the hell did you say? What did you say, Justin? Say with your chest.
I said you've been saying a
Whatever,
lot
I don't
of
want to
things.
hear it. I have been talking about depth from the very beginning. If you saw Raptors in the prior years, like Jelani said, there's always been a bench mob, and you need a bench to make sure that your starters can facilitate constantly. They are also healthy, because this year for the Raptors has been worse, I feel like, in terms of injury. They've been in and out so much. Look at Otto Porter. He's not going to be playing the rest of the season. He's completely out now. He got the
That
demerit
also
taken
hurts
care of.
our bench.
Yeah,
That's why we picked him
absolutely.
up for bench depth.
We needed him for some depth, and now he's not going to play at all. But I think it also shows Nick Nurse that you need to let these guys have reps. I don't care if it's the Blazers, it's the Hornets. If anything, they should be playing against teams like this, because they are going to be able to get on there, even if they're bad benches on the other side. At least they get their momentum going, some reps in. And even if guys aren't able to produce when it comes to shooting, like I said, Malachi was great when it came to playmaking. Also, Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes was pretty passive last night. So if you look at his scoreboard, he had a pretty low scoring game, 7-5-7. But if you actually watch the game with your eyeballs, which some people don't do, you would know that he came through when it came to playmaking. He had 7 assists, and all 7 of his assists, all 7 of his assists came from threes. Like, he assisted on threes, and he was able to produce that being able to going in the paint, drawing all those bodies, kicking it out, getting that 3. How easily can he put your team up? It's everything, right?
What we've been saying this whole season. We want to see him drive it to the rim, drive it to the hole.
And if you can't shoot, definitely pass it out, and that's how you get the open guy. Beyond that too, Pascal also had a pretty solid assist night. He had 7 assists, and Fred had 8 assists too. But I think we come now to this point where it's like we still need a guy to know who actually is the playmaker on this team, like who has really taken over that role. So now it's between 3 guys. It's Pascal, it's Freddie, and it's Scotty. I know we want Scotty to be aggressive, to be in the paint like you just said, but when he's passing like this, does it get you to question anything?
But here's the thing though, you said all of his assists were on threes, right?
Yeah.
Because he was driving into the lane, and they were, teams were respecting that, and they were collapsing on him. He could kick out the wide open threes. I don't see Scotty Barnes being that guy that takes the ball up the court and dribbles it up like that. I see him doing exactly what he did last night. Being a physical force, being a guy that can get to the rim at will, and drawing defenders and kicking it out, a la LeBron James, what he could do. Now, again, LeBron can also take the ball up the court and stuff like that. But I don't see Scotty Barnes. I know a lot of people at the end of season 2 wanted to see Scotty Barnes play that point guard role. I don't think his game is predicated to that. Now, if you want to turn him into that, then do it, but go all the way in and do it, right? Give him the ball, give him those reps to do it. But I don't see his game. I don't see him doing that, right? I see him doing more what he did last night, right? And I think that's better for him and better for this team, and you can build around that. But again, who knows? But I don't see Scotty Barnes as a true point.
Yeah, for me, I'm in agreement with that. I think we obviously understand in terms of his vision, that's one of his strongest suits, okay? That's why we were impressed with what he provided when we drafted him, okay? Because his vision is second to none. But I do find that he's a better option for the offense when he's going to the hoop. When he's trying to get the ball, say, get out of my way, okay? Get out of my way, let me get mine, okay, in the paint. And then, like you mentioned, LeBron, also look at a guy like Giannis, for example, okay? He always
that might be a better comp.
Because Giannis, we don't mistake him for being a shooter. Okay, he could go inside. He always does it. Always goes inside, draws the defenders, 2 or 3 guys, finds a guy.
We saw it against the Raptors. We saw it against the Raptors last week.
That hurt us. Okay, so Scotty could get these guys involved in other ways. You don't have to be that true quintessential point guard.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, you don't have
Chris
to be,
Paul mold
yeah,
like
you
that.
don't have to be those type of point guards to help your teammates out. Okay, you could be a guy that driving kicks. You could be a guy that tries to be aggressive, in the interior and still find ways to playmate.
Yeah.
It's very possible, and I think that's where Scotty's at his best. Okay, we've seen Scotty at times try to be that true point guard. Hasn't always worked. Let's be honest, but when he's found his way, to score, but also find his way to be a playmaker in that aspect, when he is assertive, that is the best Scotty Barnes.
And I think with the Raptors, we're kind of lucky because you have two guys that can do that. You have Scotty and Pascal. If they take the ball, go in the paint, and you have three guys around them that can get that shot in, you give yourself a chance every single night. The only thing is if they're not hot that night, then you have to really bank on the guys around the perimeter.
Goes back to the lack of shooting they have on.
Yeah,
their team.
it's about guys making their shots.
Yes.
It's just about that. And the Raptors have regressed in all ways. It's not just Scotty, it's not just Fred VanVleet. They've all kind of regressed when it comes to shooting. So hopefully it's just a down year. But they do have the easiest schedule remaining in the league, guys. Really, really quickly. Like I said, we played the Blazers, we played the Hornets. We have 3 games remaining this week against the Hornets, the Hawks, and the Knicks. And after that, you end up being one of the easiest team when it comes to playing other teams. And then the Raptors came on, they said that they're going to wait until February 1st to figure out which direction they want to take. They want to take this team and right before the trade deadline. And I think this is where the Raptors are maybe feel there's a lose-lose situation where even if you're going to play against these teams that are really bad and you win, it's kind of like, they're like bad teams. So let me show me against good teams. But if you lose against them, it's like, well, come on.
Yeah, you should win.
Like, come on. Yeah, exactly. So where would you take this? Would you take that into any stock?
You guys know I'm team Tank Commander. I'm the general of the Tank Commander army. Look, man, this team is what it is. They're talented, but they're not a good team. As simple as that. They have talent, they have good pieces, but they're not a good team, right?
Yeah, we know
you
you're
saw it
talking
last
about.
night
We know
against
you're
Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
They won, but it was very sloppy, and Charlotte made it closer than it actually had to
wasn't a
be,
clean
right?
game.
It was
wasn't
not a clean game. And the way I see it is this. I've said it before. Winning titles is Masai Ujiri's game plan, right? You're not winning a title this year. You're not going to win a title next year with this same roster intact, right? Rebuild, retool.
Okay, we
re-energize.
know your energy. Okay, Jelani, what about you?
I'm not moved by a win against the Charlotte Hornets. I am not moved whatsoever.
Smart individual right here.
Thank you, J Unit. I think that the Raptors they're stuck. They're in a spot where it's like, okay, you look at the record, it's not what we've wanted. Of course, there's been injury.
You know
Of
what
course,
they
there's
are?
been regression in shooting. But I'm not impressed with this team. You said it best. There's some talent here, of course, right? The talent that the Raptors have is actually better than the record, okay? But I think at this point, the Raptors to me are in that spot. You're talking about playing maximum, okay? Maybe I see them at best an 8 seed, at best, because I don't even think Indiana right now. I believe they're 6 or around that, and then you got the Knicks at 7. I
Knicks are
believe
7,
unless something's
Indiana
changed.
6, yeah.
I don't see a top 6. Okay, not with the way we're playing, not with the way other teams in the East are playing.
Yeah.
And then when you're talking about Raptors fans that want the 7th seed, I think that's even out of
the
it.
point?
What's the point, right? That there's a ceiling there. You're gonna be knocked out anyway. I find that this team is just hovering around 500. They're gonna be there for a while. We'll see what happens with the trade deadline, if they make moves or not, or if they just say, "Tank Commanders, let's go," in full force. I'm simply not moved. I'm simply not moved, and I don't believe also that the Raptors, just because they have an easy schedule moving forward, that doesn't mean that's not going to mean wins are going to come in the door, because teams that are in the play-in always have these stretches during the year. They always have the stretches where they win a few games, 3 and 4 in a row. They feel nice about about themselves. Oh, we're back. Oh, we're gonna make a run now. We're top 6.
Also, if you know the Raptors, you know their record against.
And then they lose.
Yeah,
They
teams
lose
under
games.
500 is not great at all either. So if anything, you have to. I think we're gonna have to wait until they play the Celtics and Bucks that's coming up to see what this
good
team
luck.
really looks like. But at the same time, I think by the end of this month, Masai will have to choose the directions, either playing for what, or this team is still in there. There are some things in there. We can make it work. But my thoughts and prayers for everybody who's a Raptors fan right now. It's not an easy time. It's
At least
been
we won a
tough.
game, though. At least
At
we
least
won
we
a
won the
game.
This
game.
is where you
At least we won
find
the
out
game.
where the true Raptor fans are.
Right here.
They're not the bandwagoners out there.
Right here.
We are real Raptors fans because we speak the truth. whether or not we're winning games, whether or not we're losing games, we speak the
And
truth.
we're not paid by the media, just not
No.
say or say anything. So
And
we
if you
can
want to
say
join
whatever
the
we
Tank
want.
Commander Army, by all means.
It's okay. We're still a little bit out from that, but we'll see this week how the Raptors fare against the next three teams.
Let's win some
Hopefully, they can win some games, put together a winning streak. Because they're on watch. Masai's watching. He's gonna make sure that then by the next year, this team is looking like they can win at least more than 2 games in a row. See you next time on Homestand NBA.